Foundation. Let's bring in Congressman Jim Jordan, Republican on the Judiciary Committee. He'll be at today's hearing. Always a pleasure to have you on the show, sir.
Good to be with you, Chris.
What questions do you have for the AG?
Is he going to appoint a special counsel? You know, we did an op-ed yesterday. Last night, Washington Post reporting he's now considering a special counsel. So that's news that at least they're moving in the right direction. We called for it 3.5 months ago, had not heard a darn thing from the Justice Department. And now we do an op-ed, and he's coming today to testify, and suddenly he had a kind of, it seems to me, a come-to-Jesus moment, and they're now looking to actually appoint one, which is exactly what should happen.
Well, Jim, you saw the letter, right, the November 13th letter from yesterday.
Yeah.
I wonder if, and we've been reporting it the same way, so I'm hitting both of us with the same stick right now. Do you think we're getting ahead of ourselves in terms of what his intentions are? I mean, I know you'll ask him today, and we'll get it. I'm just asking because the special counsel, whether any matters merit the appointment, it was literally like the third option in one sentence of what they might be pursuing going forward. Do you think that they're really thinking about it, or do you want to nudge him to think about it?
Well, it's the latter, and the truth is we don't know. But what we do know are all the things that we have learned in the last few weeks, on top of what Mr. Comey did in 2016 relative to the Clinton email investigation. All that combined certainly warrants a special counsel. Jim Comey called the Clinton investigation a matter, not an investigation, attempting to mislead the American people. Jim Comey began drafting an exoneration letter prior to interviewing Secretary Clinton, prior to finishing the investigation. Jim Comey, when he gets fired, leaks a government document through a friend to the New York Times for the stated purpose of creating a special counsel to look in possible Trump campaign and collusion with Russia, which there's been no evidence of that. So all that goes on. And now we learn here in the last few weeks about what took place when Bob Mueller was FBI chairman regarding the Uranium One deal, and all the facts that have come out regarding the dossier, who paid for it, how it was financed, was it turned into an opposition research turned into an intelligence doc, all that together. If that doesn't warrant a special counsel, what the heck does? So obviously there needs to be one. That's what we're going to push Attorney General Sessions on today.
Well, it's obvious to you. I mean, everything that you've just stated is either known or seen very well. I don't know that. How do you know that it's known to Americans?
It sure are in the 4th District, because I talk to them every week when I go home, and they bring it up. When are people going to be held accountable? When is there going to go? We're going to get back to this fundamental principle in this country that it's equal treatment under the law. It's not two standards. It's not one standard for you and I and a different one for Secretary Clinton. It's one standard under the law. That's how it's supposed to work. That's what I hear from constituents back in the 4th District of Ohio.
So you have confirmation that someone that an organization that Mike Pompeo and pretty much everybody in the intelligence community thinks in WikiLeaks is a hostile non-state actor abetted by Russia, was communicating with Donald Trump Jr., and he put out a link for them, and who knows what else happened. And that doesn't raise to the top of your agenda today.
No, Chris.
Clinton does. Why?
Chris, Bob Mueller's going to look into that. We know that. There's a couple emails that Donald Trump Jr. responded to. Okay, Bob Mueller will look into that. What I want to know is who's going to look into the fact that the DNC and the Clinton campaign financed through their law firm, Fusion GPS, to put together the dossier, and it sure looks like that dossier became the basis that was presented to the FISA court to get a warrant to spy on Americans associated with the Trump campaign.
You know, you've heard
that should not happen in this country. That is just fundamentally wrong. If, in fact, that did happen, it should not happen. So someone needs to look into that fact pattern.
What would have been wrong? As you know, when they went for that FISA warrant, not only did they have to make a cause showing in front of a judge, but they said that it wasn't the basis for their getting a FISA warrant.
We don't know that. Everything points to they did use it as a basis for that. We don't know for sure how it was used, but it sure seems like it was
coming out of there that it
court.
wasn't the basis for the warrant, that they had other elements when they made their show to a judge who had to find a sufficient finding for a warrant. But more importantly, why do you believe that what Clinton did sizes up as any type of collusion? Why?
They paid for it. The press had this dossier. No one would print it because they viewed it as national choir and garbage and baloney. They wouldn't print it. Then suddenly it gets presented to a FISA court, and that's the basis for putting a wiretap on Carter Page? Really?
But we don't know that any of that's true.
And then Jim Comey goes on January 6, 2017 to New York, briefs President-elect Trump on it. Shortly thereafter, it is leaked. Someone leaked it to the press, and the fact that that meeting took place and the dossier was discussed, and then, lo and behold, CNN reports it, and BuzzFeed prints the entire dossier. Imagine that. So those kind of facts, I think, need investigating, too, and that's all we're asking.
Investigating to what end? Because it sounds like just a political spitball contest. So where would it lead?
Chris, an opposition research document gets turned into an intelligence document presented to the FISA court. And
we don't know that it was presented to the FISA court as if it was the basis.
Why don't they tell us? Why didn't the FBI just tell us? Did you use it or not?
But you have heard reporting where they said, no, the dossier was not the basis of our investigation.
Why the reluctance to tell us? Why the reluctance of the FBI? Just tell us, did you use it or not? Did you take it to the FISA court or not? Was it a basis for this wiretap or not? Just tell us.
Isn't that a question that you could get without a special counsel?
Well, we're trying, but if we can't, we need a special counsel to give it to us. I'll be asking those kind of questions today.
So it's not just political tit for tat?
Of course, it's about getting the truth for the American people. It's about equal treatment under the law. That's what this is about.
Well, so but I thought it was about Russian interference and who may have cooperated and coordinated with Russian interference.
Exactly.
What does this have to do with it?
And the Clinton campaign and the DNC paid Fusion GPS to go over and get information about President Trump that's not accurate.
Right, but they weren't
worked with Russians to get that.
They weren't approached by Russian agents. They weren't asked to set up meetings, and they weren't offered information by Russian agents.
Chris, you don't think it's interesting that the DNC paid for this dossier? You don't think it's interesting that the Clinton campaign paid for this dossier, and we just found that out a few weeks ago, that in fact took place?
Well, how is it any more interesting than when Nix went to WikiLeaks and asked them for stuff that he could help in a Trump PAC? I mean, this is a dirty business.
Chris, you're making my point. All this needs to be investigated. Let's get the answers to all these questions. Let's find out the truth so the American people can evaluate and we get the truth for the American people. That's what I'm about.
But you asking, Congress asking, which is being done with Uranium One and some of this other stuff,
that's
one thing. A special counsel is another thing. That's all I'm saying.
Do you think Robert Mueller can, because he was the guy at the FBI
I'll
at the
jump
time,
your question.
You think he's not compromised when it comes to examining the Uranium One deal and all the things, the extortion, the bribes, the kickbacks, all
No, I haven't seen any proof of that.
With the businesses in Russia who are trying to get part of the uranium business.
I haven't seen any proof of that. And you guys talk about uranium like it was weapons grade stuff. It wasn't. It's all for domestic use. Here is about an energy contract. But you guys loved Mueller when he was appointed. You loved him when he was appointed.
I didn't
The Republicans loved him. He's one of your own. He's a lifer. He's a decorated veteran.
I know the answers I got from him when I first questioned him about the IRS scandal.
Well, no, that's true. You have your own individual issue with that. There's no question. You're always welcome on New Day to discuss it. Let us know what you think about your interview with AG Sessions today. You're always welcome. Be well, Congressman.
Thanks, Chris.